Yo, what is up everybody? A brand new Fortnite Reload rank mode has just dropped, and this is how you get to Unreal. Today we're going to talk about landing drops for each playstyle, how to play early game, mid and late game, and how to reach Unreal in no time. If you do enjoy, make sure to like, sub. We're on a road to 10k subs. Let's get straight into it. First off, let's talk about which game mode is the best to rank up fast. This is where consistency comes into play. No game mode is better to rank up fast, but it's how consistent you can be when you're playing. Example, for me, Doors is better because I have someone that is more or less on my skill level, which is my Door. We always make like top 5 and have an average eliminations of 20 per match. So the mode really doesn't matter. What matters is how you place and how good you work as a team. It's a unique mode where eliminations and placements matter more than usual. You need to be strategic about your landing, your playstyle, and overall strategy to climb up the ranks quickly. Whether you're aggressive or passive player, there's always a strategy to help you succeed. First thing, let's talk about landing drops. When it comes to landing drops, there are a few things you need to know. Let's start with aggressive drops for players who are confident in their fighting skills. We got Tilted Towers and Pleasant Park, or perfect drops, or hotspot drops actually, for aggressive players that are confident in their fighting abilities. These drops are always crowded, but the loot density is also high, where Tilted Towers has 32 chests and Pleasant Park has 52 chests in total. If you survive the initial chaos, you'll be stacked on loot and eliminations, setting you up to rank faster. However, for more passive players, locations like Sandy Sheets and Dusty Docks are much quieter. At Sandy Sheets, you can land and loot in peace. But the most important passive landing drop is Dusty Docks. Despite it being quieter, Dusty has the most chests with 55 out of all the landing zones. So even if you don't fight straight away, you leave with top tier loot. Now let's break down some of the optimal routes at each location. The paths for maximizing your loot collection in a short period of time. We got Tilted Towers, starting from the southwest building. Follow the chest route across the rooftops and then down to the center. This route is perfect for grabbing multiple chests and quickly preparing for nearby engagement. Pleasant Park, moving from house to house along the outlined path, ensure you grab the best route and give you a quick cover in case of early skirmish. Sandy Sheets, this location offers a passive loot-heavy route. The northern buildings and along the beach, you'll find a few opponents, but the loot along this path will keep you well equipped. The best passive spot, Dusty Docks, the most chest heavy location in the game right now. Following this route, the central warehouse gives you access to a ton of loot while keeping you relatively safe from early fights because nobody really lands here. Now, aggressive versus passive playstyles. So how do you decide whether to play aggressive and passive? If you're playing aggressive, prioritize eliminations early, especially at hot drops like Tilted and Pleasant. Aim for at least 8 eliminations before rotating out of those POIs, which will give you a huge boost in ranking. If you're more of a defensive or passive player and you're not really confident in your abilities, Dusty Docks is the best place to be. Its chest count is the highest, giving you a loot advantage and having to not engage in early fights. This means you can gather top tier loot and position yourself for mid-game and late-game engagement without much risk. So now we move on to the mid-game strategies. Once you pass the early game, the mid-game is all about getting up to make it to the end. Whether you're just playing aggressively or defensively, supply drops are your best friend here. They drop some of the best loot, ensuring that you have a full loadout. And if you just got eliminated and you're respawning after dying, heading for a supply drop can make all the difference in getting back into the fight. But be aware, as you land, you need to protect yourself and have good awareness in case a player like me just comes, get into your box, 200 pump you in the face. Aggressive players should continue hunting for eliminations, keep moving and pushing fights where you can, especially when you are confident in your team and you have the upper hand. But remember, don't take unnecessary fights. This is super important. Even though you have maybe the best of loot, try to stick together with your partner. Pick your battles wisely, especially against squads with better positioning. For passive players, stick to the dead side of the circle. That's the area with the fewest players, allowing you to loot, farm materials and prepare for final zone without the risk of running into too many teams. However, don't avoid fighting completely. Look for easy eliminations on players who have just spawned or are scavenging for some loot. They're likely low on health, low on mats, and they are some easy targets. Now let's get straight into the late game and how to rank up then. Late game is where things get really heated up, especially as players aim to secure placements and eliminations and try bring home that victory royale. The teams who dominate late game are often the ones who landed at places like Tilted or Pleasant Park that racked up a lot of eliminations early game. You'll want to focus on positioning in reload. Height is everything. To get to high ground, whether it's through shockwaves or grappler, maintain a control of the zone. This is important. You need to have mobility. Have at least a grappler, shockwave, or bounce pads. In case you're stuck in a situation, you can always rotate out and create some space. For aggressive players, you want to pressure the other teams consistently, especially if they're playing defensively. Keep the pressure and force them to make mistakes. When this happens, this is where you must capitalize on their mistake and eliminate them. For passive players, focus on surviving the late game by rotating smartly and avoiding unnecessary fights. Use your AR to chip away some opponents from a distance and secure eliminations when opponents present themselves in a weak way. Even if you haven't been all aggressive the whole game, a few eliminations in the top 5 can significantly boost your rank. Now let's wrap things up and the key takeaways. To sum it all up, if you want to rack up fast in FortniteReload, choose a strategy that fits your playstyle. Whether it's aggressive or passive, land at the right spot for your team, prioritize eliminations, and secure critical supply drops. Stick together with your team, maintain good positioning, and be aware when to push and when to play safe. Ranking up to Unreal is all about mastering these strategies and adapting to every change in the battlefield. If you found these tips useful, don't forget to like, sub, put notifications on so you don't miss another awesome tips and tricks video like this. If you want to support me, don't forget to use code KaizenEGT in the Fortnite item shop. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.